Do a little welcome, Rachel.
Hey.
Always having beautiful jewelry on. It's one of my
Oh.
favorites to see you.
Oh, thanks.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the provider panel. Third Wednesday of every month is one of my favorite. We have some of our incredible providers from the bridge on here with us tonight. And you guys, I continue to say it, we get more of the providers open and willing to pop on here with you guys. Why? Because they love you and they want to see you guys succeed. All of us want to see you guys succeed. We're here. We actually become, I feel I'm speaking for all of us, but we become enlightened and inspired as well, which helps us do a better job for you and for ourselves. So thank you for being a part of our journey as well. Steph, welcome, sweetheart. And
Hello.
hello. So the provider panel, for those of you who may not have been able to participate, we just started this a few months ago. We get our providers on here, and you guys, this is an open forum. So all of our beautiful guests, you are here to ask questions, present struggles, present scenarios. We're going to give some gratitude here in just a second to get the vibration high so that we can start to lean into being vulnerable. And we as providers, we're here to share any sort of connection with you. We will also be vulnerable as well. And hopefully that helps to see you guys to see we're all human and we still have things that we have to work on as well. So welcome. Thank you for being here, providers and guests. You're loved and appreciated. So I would love to open with gratitude. I'll start this time because I usually always call on one of you guys. But I am grateful for communication. I'm grateful for the ability that I have to communicate. I'm not always perfect at it, but I have a huge desire to do it. And my poor husband is the one who is the gets the brunt of the bad. He's waiting. But I am so grateful for that. I'm grateful to have somebody like him that is willing to converse and communicate even when it's super hard. So I am standing in that space right now. Grateful to be here with you guys to continue communication as well. So, who would like to share their gratitude next? Tad, go ahead.
Okay, fine.
I knew it.
I the first thing that came to my mind today is I'm really have a lot of gratitude when I get a couple of great nights of sleep.
Amen.
It's a total game changer in my day to day. So I am always very grateful when I get a good night's rest.
I second that. I think most of us would agree. Sleep is precious. Awesome. I love it. Who's next? Gavin, how about you?
I'm really grateful for my dog, which is kind of
Yeah.
funny, but I just I think you don't realize this, like I don't talk to a lot of people outside of 12-year-olds every day, and so I'm really grateful for my dog because he just since I don't have very many other people in my life, he's a very nice support system to have, so very thankful for him.
Unconditional love. That's beautiful. I agree. Okay, who's next? Steph, what about you?
Sure. I'm grateful for right now I'm packing for a family vacation. Um, Saying that just now made me realize I've come a long way, even since the bridge. When I got back from the bridge, I didn't talk to my mom for about 6 months. I learned that there's some toxic behaviors in our family that cycle, and I want to break that cycle. Um, and uh, when I got back from the bridge, I crashed. I was not in a good place. Even though I learned so much, there was just so much that I was avoiding in my life forever, just running from
Yeah.
that. And
Survival.
I didn't feel safe enough around my mom to talk about mental health stuff and work through it, because that's usually our point of conflict, because uh, she wants to know why they aren't trying to fix me and she wants them to stop diagnosing me,
Mm.
therapists, etc. Something she said before I even went to the bridge, but um, I am just my I started talking to my parents again in September after my cousin died. I came back from the bridge April, right around Easter. It was Palm Sunday, so Easter week was the next week, Sunday, and I went to Easter with my parents and my brothers, and my mom. Um, I didn't mean to share all this.
You're
That's
good.
okay.
You're good.
My
Awesome.
my mom, she bought all these sweatshirts for us that said like a suicide awareness thing, and then made us all put it on and take a picture. And I was like a lot of times she tries to support, but also she has mental health issues and all of that stuff too. So, um, oh, sometimes her actions are, um, she doesn't always think with my best interest and those sorts of things. I don't know how to explain that, but so I at my cousin's funeral, I went to go after the funeral. I at the reception, I went to go and sit down to eat, and I sat at the table behind my parents and my brothers, and I was sitting there eating for a little bit, and I was like, this is stupid. Like, why? Like, my cousin too was, I have a really big family, and my cousin was all about family. And I was like, John wouldn't want us to fight. And also, I was like, I need to start facing things and stop avoiding and, attack things head on. So, um, we've been working on it a lot. And I think I joke with my therapist that I put my mom in timeout for 6 months, and we've been working on our communication and stuff. So I am really grateful that, because family's always been really important to me. So I'm grateful that we've been able to talk and work things out.
Thank you for sharing that, Steph. Thanks for being vulnerable. That's posed a lot of questions that we might need to work on together today. Thank you. Who's next? Joelle?
Um, I just he took my sleep because it's so important. But I am so grateful I live in St. George. And I'm grateful that we had snow today.
We did, you guys. We got snow in St. George today. It's
yes. Nice and cool and just fun, but it doesn't stick.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm grateful for. But I am so grateful for sleep. That's all I'm saying.
Agreed. Kat agrees. Yeah. Thank you, Joelle. Celise, what about you?
Oh, hi. Well, I'm sitting here looking at my beautiful boot on my foot because I did break it at the bridge.
Why can't we see that?
Next time.
We need to see your medallion there, your medal.
Yes, my souvenir. Yeah. Anyway. No, I'm really grateful for my husband and my family now that I've been home. They've just been really wonderful and things have gone really well since I've come back, and friends and just things like that. Nice messages and all the people in my life that I've received good messages from.
Awesome. That's uplifting. Thank you, Celise.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Meg, what about you?
I'm grateful that we do not have snow today. That is why I am late. I got off of work and it is 60 degrees, and I was like, we are going walking right now. So we've been out walking, so I was trying to like wipe down a little bit just now and like cool off. So I'm excited that spring is finally coming. So
That's a wonderful feeling. Thank you, Megan. What about you, Ty?
I got back from rock climbing just before this, and I took my two older kids indoors because it's cold outside right now. But
Yes.
um, my son fell asleep in the car on the way over, and he was really excited to go. And then he slept through the entire thing. But the nice thing was like I don't get that many like cuddles from him anymore. He's just really resistant to it because he's two, he's almost three. And I just got to hold him the whole time. I didn't climb, but we just watched my daughter climb for like an hour, and I just got to like sit with him like this for an hour. It was kind of lovely. And it wasn't what we planned, but like it was kind of a perfect little moment there.
Yeah,
So that's it.
that's good. I miss some of those days when my daughter was a baby, and I remember her just cuddling up to me. And it was like in that moment, you're kind of just like, oh, this is great. I can keep
Yeah,
this for a while.
it changes quickly, I'm
It does.
finding.
It does. Thanks for sharing, Ty. Ash, what about you?
Well, I'm grateful. Well, I got to meet with Tyler earlier, which was great. So thanks, Tyler. Um, grateful for that. Um, I also am grateful for Dr. Brooks because I keep going back to this like for like the last month now. I just keep thinking how grateful I am because like after Christmas when I was in the ER for my whole like hand infection thing,
Mm.
I was able to call him. It was like 10:30 at night. I hadn't talked to him since I left the bridge, which was like a year and a half ago. But just that he was like able and willing to pick up the phone and like talk to an old client that he hasn't talked to in a year and a half
Yeah.
and like help me out.
Yeah.
So that always crosses my mind, like since that's happened. So I'm grateful for that.
Darren's good about that.
hmm
All right. Lori, what about you?
Oh, gratitude moment, reflection.
Mm.
Very grateful for reflection and just being able to take that time to allow the emotions to come up and through and just be in it and enjoy it without judgment.
I love that. Being present. Reflection. Awesome. Thank you
Lori,
so much.
before I forget, I
Melissa.
bought that book, What Do You Do with a Problem? And it is my son's favorite book, but it's also one of my favorite books now because when we get to the part he goes, "That scare me. That scare me." And it's like the cutest thing ever. So thank you for sharing that book with us.
Yeah, that was a darling book. I love it. All right, Melissa, what about you? What's your gratitude today?
I'm gratitude for the bridge, as I always am. The brain fog is gone. I've been very creative, and I wrote my second song. I finished it last night at 3:30 in the morning on the bridge.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, you have one copy of it. You have the first song. I think it's posted in our group if you want to
Yeah,
hear it.
yeah. I'll have to listen to it. I've had a chance.
But
Melissa's
yeah,
writing songs. That's beautiful.
so yeah, I'm very grateful that my creative juices are really flowing right now.
Thank you for sharing that with us. We appreciate it. I love that. Okay, let's see who we got. Just got a few left here. Grant, what about you, my friend?
I'm similar to Joel, maybe. I'm glad we got the snow, but I'm in Apple Valley, so I'm 45 minutes outside of St. George. And I was glad to come home to a warm house. It's cold out
Mm.
here. The snow sticks out here. Um,
So you still have some out there?
it's been cold and windy. Oh yeah, yeah, we have quite a bit actually, so it's kind of nice. Yeah. Yeah.
45 minutes, isn't that crazy? 45 minutes when like here it's gone. Like it lasted about a half hour and it was gone.
Yeah, and I mean, it started this morning probably about 5:30 or 6 out here. It was pretty light, but by
Yeah.
the time I was headed into St. George about 8, we have quite a bit of snow, but I'm kind of in a higher part of Apple Valley.
Mm.
But I came home and I'm like, I have time
Warm
to
house.
light a fire. This would be nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was good to
cozy.
come home. Yeah.
I love that. Awesome. Thank you, Grant. Kiara, what about you, sweetheart?
And my gratitude today is yesterday, my friend had a really long labor and things were not looking super good. And this morning I got the text that the baby was born and both mom and baby are safe. So that's huge gratitude.
Yeah, that's huge gratitude. So glad. What about you, Dave?
I'm still in Washington State, and so I am grateful that I have worked to maintain a positive attitude, despite the fact that it has been cloudy and raining for probably 18 days straight now. Mhm.
Well, today it wouldn't have been any different here.
That's what I heard. Yep, I heard that there was the rare snowstorm everyone was waiting for. Yeah.
So by the time you come back, the sunshine will welcome you home.
I probably have, maybe 13 days of rain and clouds, and then I'll be back. So I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, I love that. The sun makes a big difference. Okay, Rach, I think you're our grand finale. Everyone else is gone, right? Have I missed anybody besides cute Rachel?
Man, I was like thinking that you're gonna miss me.
No.
Oh, I am so intimidated to do gratitudes in front of people.
This will be great for you.
Oh yeah, it's so good for me. I speaking of snow, we live in Wyoming, and the place that we live in, we usually have 2 to 3 feet of snow right now in our yard. And this year it's so weird we don't have that much snow, and but we got this storm this week or today and yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Like oddly, we're a ways away from you guys, but we got snow, and one of my friends was like, "Do you want to go for a walk?" And I was like, it was a couple days ago, and I was like, "Well, it's supposed to storm tomorrow. Are we still gonna walk in the snow?" And I was thinking it might have been like an easy out for me, but she it ended up storming that night, and then when we were supposed to go on the walk, it was like really storming, but we decided to go anyways. And I think we've talked about this before, but like, you know how buffalo, instead of walking away from the storm, they'll turn and face the storm and walk into the storm and walk through it. And so like I told her, like when we were like getting bundled up, I'm like, we're like buffalo right now. Like like literally walking in the storm, right? But but I was just like really grateful for that moment, for like a friend that would do that with me, um but also like the strength that I don't know. I don't know why I get so emotional. Sorry. Um but I guess I don't know. I'm grateful for that strength that I have to like it, gosh, it was more than just like a walk. It was like mm, showing myself that like I'm like how strong I really am. And I just am grateful for that moment.
I'm grateful for you right now, Rach, for being vulnerable, and I think everyone else is feeling that as well. I don't think it was a mistake or by chance that I waited for you to the end, because that was beautiful. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for being open, and you just faced a fear. What a beautiful metaphor with the story that you told us. Thank you for that. Um, with that, you guys, I have some questions, but I want to open it up to you first to make sure everyone is being heard. You come here to feel supported by us as providers and connected to your fellow bridge guests, present, past, all the kinds of things. This is what we're here for. We're a community. So I want to open up real quick. Does anyone have anything that's been pressing that they want feedback on, that they want to open on to the floor? Anything that's been on the minds? I'll wait for a second. I'm learning to be okay with silence. Okay, so my question is this. With the gratitudes that we've been sharing, I love doing that because sometimes I hear questions that can be proposed to all of us as we give gratitude. And we had some good pieces that came up from everybody, but something that I feel connected to. So I want to open it up to you guys and see where you're at with this. And I'm going to lead with Rach, what you just brought up for us, because it's connected to something else that I feel like we can pull together. What storms are we walking through right now? What fears are we learning how to face? Number one. Okay, there's the first part of the question. And leading in with what Steph was talking about, noticing the difference in how she's reacting to certain things, noticing the way that she is progressing in a piece that has been hard for her. Can we correlate the two? Does anybody have something to pull up with those two pieces? I would love to hear. Let's talk about it.
I feel like a storm I keep walking through. Like everyone in my personal life like knows where I'm at and I work from home, so I guess they spend more time with me like one-on-one. So they see, but like I feel like some of the people I work with, aka two people specifically, it's almost like they test me to see how far they can like has she gotten quote better, like does she still get stressed, does she get anxiety, and it's like they will antagonize a situation way past what would they would do with anyone else, and it's almost like they're just testing
They're all
me.
broken up.
What?
That's just probably my TV that you hear right now.
Oh, but I feel like they are almost like testing me, which I'm fine with. Like I keep passing the test, but every time like it starts to happen, I have to remind myself like if you break, they win. Like just keep going.
Okay.
I feel like they're manipulating you and like antagonizing you for a health disability, which I'm also dealing with at work currently. Yeah, that's just my impression.
Okay, cool. Providers, anybody have thoughts? Go for it, Dave.
So I wonder if part of what's happening is that, when in any relationship with people, coworkers or partners, it's a system, right? This sort of locks together. And people, we're pattern recognizing machines. So people behave in predictable ways with one another. And so if you have, say, a coworker that escalates all the time or, has whatever sort is very stoic maybe, and they change that behavior, it's unsettling. Now, even if it's a good change, right? If you think about that, if they change at all, we recognize that. And I think we could argue that to some degree, some people, many people, will try to get that person, maybe even sort of subconsciously, to behave the way that they were before. I knew you this way before. I count on you to be this way, and you're not. And so it's not like I'm celebrating some amazing change. I'm uncomfortable with that.
Yeah.
I like that. That's rad.
Yeah, I feel like they're proud of me sometimes. Like it's one of them is my direct boss, and I feel like he's proud of me sometimes when he sees me like get through it, like it was a test he set up for me, and I'm like that. But in my head, I'm like, well, that wasn't really cool, but
Mm,
glad to
yeah,
see you're proud of me. Like,
right.
But it's good that I think you're number one, you're so aware of it, you know, that you can respond to it. Whereas probably before you would have just reflexively
reacted. Yeah.
reacted. Right. Which is a huge, you have to give yourself props for that because that's a huge change, right? And it makes a big difference. Um, and the other thing that I would look at, and I don't know that you have to get super heady about this because these are coworkers. This isn't like someone that's at home with you, but you might look at like keep looking at what's behind what they're doing. Again, I wouldn't get super heady about that, but I think there is, value in looking at like what would their motivation be for doing this? I wonder why that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Beautiful. Thank you, Dave. I love that. Anybody else? Joelle, you have a thought?
Well, I was thinking energetically, the universe basically will bring it to you. If you like, let's say you get rid of somebody, a coworker, and you go to another job and it happens again, it could be you, and the only thing you can control is yourself. So being aware and looking at it and going, okay, what's my part in this? And not saying, do you know what I mean? And I've noticed in my experiences, like with my family, with my work, whatever, if I look at myself and I see that part and I change it just a little bit, it gets better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. Another great perspective. Anybody else? Any other providers have another point of view to piggyback on that? I really like, Meg, that, and Dave pointed out, it connects with the questions that I proposed, where it's like, notice your own progression in your own actions in the situation, right? Like where you would have been previously as opposed to where you're at right now, and finding gratitude in that, noticing that, acknowledging that, of celebrating that. And then, how can we open into a different story, right? Where is the control that I have? What, with what Joelle's proposing that way. I love that. Anybody else? Thoughts? Grant. I see you reaching, Grant. So
I thought my arms were even below this.
dang it.
I want to second everything that's been said, and I would just add if there's any way for you to find a smile inside when someone challenges you and summon the confidence to know that that's about them and not about you even. They've got issues that they're working through you because you're just a reflection of them. Smile about that and enjoy the ride. If you can find that in you, I think it's fairly healthy. Just know this is something they're working through and hey guys, I'm happy to help you work through this. Here we go. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I love that. Anybody else? Lori.
Can I say something? Yeah. It's just I've had that actually. I feel like I'm always a work in progress. I love reading. I love expanding on myself, and when things happen, if I have a negative response to something, then I'll do a deep dive in myself. Like why did I have that reaction? Why is my body feeling this way? Where am I feeling this in my body? And just really go in and take a deep dive and do some work. So with that, I'm never the same person. I'm not the same person when I wake up. I'm not the same person by lunchtime. I'm not the same person when I go to bed. So when we're constantly shifting and changing, or we have big changes, or people have expectations of our change, it comes from them not knowing, not understanding. And of course they want us to change, but then when we do, like, they don't know what they want. They don't know what we want. What they want from us, we don't know what we want for us sometimes. And so I think for me and my experience when I'm just really coming into myself and I'm finding that place of stillness and shutting everything out, that actually was my hugest problem for many, many years, was trying to please everybody else. I didn't know who I should be, when I should be at, what I should be at, when I should, whatever. And it was very confusing and it caused a lot of heartache for me. So the more I come into a place of stillness and I'm just focusing on here and just doing my work and tuning the other things out, for me, it's just become thank you for sharing. And that's it. There's no explanation. There's nothing else that comes with it. And if I have an internal response like, oh, how dare they say that to me, even though that wasn't my outward response, I come in and later that's where I do the work. Where did that response come from? Why did that bring something up in me? So I know that we all mirror each other too. So if I'm seeing something positive or negative in somebody else, and having that response again, I just continue to bring it back to me and where do I want to take a deep dive to do some work there.
Ooh, I love that. Right. That self-reflective piece is beautiful. I find myself having to also ask the questions like, what am I assuming of them? Like what part of this am I assuming they're at? Where am I assuming what they're thinking? Am I assuming what they're doing? Is there an assumption there and a judgment upon that that I actually don't know for sure? Right. So we can self-reflect on that piece as well and find where we can actually control the mindset piece. Anybody else? This is a cool conversation. Any other thoughts?
I can throw another one out there that I've been struggling with.
Go for it.
Uh, giving my so I think at the bridge you guys taught us like in order to take care of others, we have to take care of ourselves. So I feel like I've really reached into my tool belt. I've been doing a good job of taking care of my husband and being the mom and taking care of myself and not losing myself in work and doing all the stuff. But my poor kitchen table right now has become this like little hoarding thing. Like I will just put like, okay, like I got the laundry done and that was great, but the laundry has to make its way to the closets and the drawers, but it'll sit on the kitchen table and then like I'll make it to the mailbox, but then the mail like ends up in a pile on the table too. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna meditate. I'm not putting those bills away. Like we're organizing them into their cabinet. So it's like a give and take. And I sometimes will feel guilty and I'll look at the kitchen table and it's like that kitchen table hasn't been just a table in probably 2 months. But then I'm like, but then look at the other good stuff that's going on in my life right now, and I'm keeping balance and I'm doing what I'm supposed to. So it's like I struggle with that balance. Like, should I be disappointed in myself because I'm still not keeping up with everything, or do I celebrate my wins that I have done?
Interesting. Thoughts? Anybody?
Celebrate the wins.
Screw the table. Yeah.
I've been trying to get to my garage forever. And I just figure when I get to it, I'll finally die. So,
That'll be the day.
right?
Right?
I would say watch your thoughts too, which I have to check myself on too, like even just my response to the last question. To see it more positive. Like I'm just noticing from coming back from the bridge and learning everything we learned and just the thoughts that we're constantly pouring through and telling our bodies if we're stressed or safe or those sorts of things. So I have ADHD and struggle with organization, but I also have anxiety and I am anxious about the mess of my house. But I started noticing instead of being overwhelmed all the time, for me, it might not be the same for you, but for me, it feels like unopened tabs in a browser taking up memory in my brain. And the
Mm.
more open tabs I have, all these unfinished tasks, especially when you said you'll like do the mail and it'll get to halfway, or laundry. I'm literally at that point too right now. I'm packing for a trip and using this as an excuse to get laundry done because it's all in unfolded. So I'm folding it and figuring out and packing. But what I'm trying to learn to do and what's been helping me get better is just like Tanisha taught us at the bridge, like just set your goals realistic, like 1%. Just do 1% progress every day. That's been helping a lot. Also, instead of being anxious about all the unfinished tasks, and you probably there's maybe some guilt about things too, about not getting things done. Being kinder to yourself, understanding that we don't live in a bubble, that we're human, that we have a lot on our plates. And so if I notice that something keeps reoccurring as a thought that is causing me stress and causing me guilt or shame, I'm trying to use that as an opportunity to turn and face it and attack it then, when I have the motivation um, and the thoughts coming up, so that it then after that it's done and I don't need to keep having that recurring thought that's making me anxious and making me feel shame. So it that's what I've been trying to do instead of writing a list of everything that I haven't done, which is scary. I'm trying to attack things when they come up, like Buddhism, where like go with the flow of the universe instead of fighting against the river. So I'm trying to let when stressors come up in my life or thoughts that I notice now, I try to turn and face it and and figure it out so that I'm not having those thoughts anymore.
Mm. Thank you, Steph. I love that. Any other thoughts in addition to some of the things that are being brought up? Anything,
I have a thought.
please?
Maybe check in. I might have missed something, Megan, but maybe check in. All of us probably need to check in sometimes to see how much are we willing to ask for help.
Mm.
Because when you're
Mm.
letting go of something to pick up something else that's more important to you, if you're meditating for your own health, maybe that's something you can ask help for. You can put all those things on the table and say, these are the problems I need help with, and ask someone else to step in sometimes. But I know that can be difficult, especially if you put a lot of pressure on yourself. To what extent do you want their help? And are they going to do it your way or their way? And can you let go if they do it their way?
Yeah.
Or can you still be in a place of gratitude? Or you like, I should just do it myself. Nobody can do it as good as me, you know? So tricky balance.
Mm.
My husband said that to me. It was probably like 2 weeks ago for me to like let him. So I let him put away the laundry. And then I haven't, like, it was just the other day I was going through the closet and I was like, there's that shirt. There it is. It's on the wrong side in the wrong area. But at the same time, like, I smiled because I was like, okay, like, it's still got, I let go of something and know it wasn't done perfectly. I did correct him so that he knows where that the work shirts go in this section in the future. But yeah, that's also a part of the learning curve is letting go. And we
How?
all know that as females, like
Yeah.
especially with the closets.
I like Grant. First of all, anything else? Any providers? Anything you guys have to piggyback on that? Go for it, Dave.
So I would I think Grant's point is well taken. And additionally, I would say I think there's a myth that high performing people get it all done. I mean,
Agreed.
and this comes from Elon Musk, who talked about having to delete as many things as you can possibly delete so you can get the top end things done. Right. So a high performer skill would be delegation, right? Like Grant was talking about. A high performer skill would be deleting certain things or minimizing other things. So some things are not going to be great, in lieu of us doing
other things that are more important that take us farther. And I think that that's a truism for high performers, right? So,
Mhm.
and Megan, you are a high performer, which I think
Yeah.
you already know. So I think that that's part of the game, is just figuring out what to delete, what to minimize, and how to delegate. Yeah, it's a good skill base.
It's an excellent skill base, but it can also be, like Grant was saying, one of the hard. Does anyone else have a hard time delegating or asking for help? Thanks, Tad. You're the only one. Steph. Okay. I no, I relate to this a lot. Uh, I've been a single parent for almost 10 years. I just got married a few months ago, and my husband has to remind me, Tanisha, you don't have to do it alone anymore. And I'm like, oh, wait, what? Because I'm not used to having to do that. And it can be very challenging. And the whole, do it yourself. I mean, I don't know how many times I've asked my daughter to make her bed and I've showed her how to do it. And then she's done it and it's nothing the way I want it to. So I'll go back and redo it. And she notices, Mom, you redo it. Why should I make it? Right. So it is a challenge. And how can we accept that? One thing I wanted to bring up, but I don't want to steer away, just in case someone else has something before I say my next piece. Go for it, Ash.
I have one thing. So I think this is something that someone said to me at the bridge, one of the providers, when I was there. And I think this could apply. Um, which is like sometimes there are things that like we attach meaning to it. Where like we don't need to be doing that. So like if you walk by and the table's a mess, or you walk by and there's dishes in the sink, it's like you can try to detach whatever meaning you're attaching it to instead, and just be like, oh, there's paper on the table, like it's just paper, or like, oh, there's dishes in the sink, and just like observe that there are dishes in the sink. It doesn't have to mean like oh, that means I should feel guilty because I'm not doing stuff, or like I'm not good enough or whatever. It's like detaching yourself from whatever it is that you're giving meaning to.
That's really good. Ash, I'm telling you, you're presenting next month. That's beautiful. Can we just stay in observation without judgment? Right? Can we play that part? Ty, any thoughts from you?
That's funny that you ask, because somebody in here just sent me a message saying, "Where's my input tonight?" Um, I'm trying to figure out where my scope of practice covers any of this stuff, but I love the conversation right now. Um, I had like one thought about balancing like bottom up and top down regulation practices. Because as a physical therapist, I tend to like my scope covers more of the bottom up practice, meaning like ways that you can change your body by doing stuff through movement, or change your environment to change the way that you feel. While top down, I think is also really valuable. Top down, I think is valuable more so in like this long term practice, where bottom up can have more immediate changes in how we feel right now. I don't know if this is making sense, but bottom up is like what you can do in your environment right now, what you can do with your body, how you can change your position, what you can do with movement. I find like bottom up regulation in my home. If my home gets messy and cluttered, I get really cluttered inside and I can't think straight. But I also agree with like what Ashley said. Like maybe I don't have to have meaning. If there are bills on the table, the bills, I don't have to create the meaning of what that means about me being behind in life or something like that. And there is a balance, like asking for help, like Grant said, I like all of those things. I I find that personally, like, well, and not just personally, there's research on this that like having clutter typically leads to like elevated stress hormones. It's hard to think logically. Your body's in a stress state when your environment doesn't feel like organized. But also, like, sometimes we get attached to these identities of like perfectionism. And we use like cleaning and organizing it as a way to like avoid maybe something that we don't want to feel. So I think we all just have to be honest with ourselves about that. But like when I'm honest with me, sometimes I avoid cleaning because I don't I don't want to do that sometimes. But I find that I think and I function and I'm way more regulated when my environment does feel more stable. So I don't know if that's helpful at all, but like sometimes I will waste so much energy on the top down stuff, trying to find regulation within myself, like trying to change my narrative or reframing it or something like that, when I can more quickly like act and choose something to change what's going on around me that I do have control over, not the stuff that I don't, but that stuff will help me find regulation a lot faster, if that makes sense. So,
Interesting. I love that. Thank you, Ty. Any thoughts on that? I'm really glad you brought up balance, Ty,
now all
because
these therapists can like clean up whatever mess I just made and make it more evidence-based.
whatever clutter you just caused in the minds of all of us.
Yeah, exactly.
Joelle, did you have a thought?
Well, I could just talk about how I do things because as a massage therapist, we have a lot of tools I have to take, and then I'm going from this job to that job. So I have a lot of crap. And so my garage, I would go, but ultimately I make sure the important places are clean, like my sink and all that other stuff. And if my husband didn't live with me and if my son didn't live with me, there wouldn't be dishes because I do it different. And as a parent, it used to stress me out when I had all these little kids and I do the things and I'd be like, oh, and I'd have to have the perfect couch. Whereas I learned to not have that because that's what stressed me out because I was trying to control it and they needed the kids. So there's got to be that balance.
Yeah. Well, so here's my thoughts. There's and some of you have heard my lecture on progressive balance. Because to have actual balance, is that actually even possible? Can we actually have life balanced? I don't believe we can. Right? So what it is if we're feeling progressive, we can have a feeling of balance, right? So if we're in a progressive state, we're in more of a balanced state than we were if we weren't in a streamlined way of progressing, right? And when I say streamline can look like this, right? It doesn't mean it looks like this, but I love that Tyler created the storm just barely because, and then I love how Joelle brought up, okay, there's these few things that I can make sure aren't cluttered. And there's these other things that I have to get in a different judgment space, right? So it's a balancing act for most of us, I believe, like the act of it, but watching ourselves so that we're not hyper focused on the outcome and where we're putting ourselves in a space of judgment. Does that make sense? That's how I'm interpreting it because I'm a perfectionist. I have OCD. I struggle, you guys. If my bed is not made every day, if my daughter's bed is not made every day, and my countertops are not wiped, I struggle to think clearly at all. And so I have to get into spaces of where am I putting myself in a space of judgment and shame, or am I in a space of, okay, these things need to get done and I can breathe better, right? Like these are essential nutrients for me, as opposed to, oh, I've just put myself in the corner of shame because my house isn't clean enough. Does that make sense? Any thoughts, feelings? Does that help?
Yeah, it helps. It's you really reframing it. That's really what you're doing, right? So you're changing, you're reframing the entire thing when you do that. It's not this is not some shame spiral. This is not some failing on my part. But I I think about it differently. I think about it as these are things I need to have done so that I feel calm.
Yeah.
Versus this is some sort of moral failing.
Yeah. Well, and I like the different points that have been brought up because those are all different positions that can help us get into the position of, okay, like what can I do, right? Can I ask my husband to help clear this space off of the table? Can I, where's the delegation piece? What can I clean? Can I do the dishes so that I can feel better about this part, right? So where are the spaces that we can feel progressive and not I have to rely on just this outcome in order to feel like I'm succeeding. Anyways. More thoughts, feelings.
Well, also delegation. So having someone, if you think about the way you feel when you help someone, okay, how often is it really that you feel like it's some horrific imposition? Most of the time, it's something you're wanting to do. Often, it's something you're wanting to do to, in some sense, connect with that person, right? So if I'm offering to help you and you're pushing that away, right? You're really maybe missing an opportunity to connect because it could very well be that. And it is a lot. Think about when you're helping people, often it feels good. It feels like something you want to do. It feels like contribution.
Right.
But it then ends up being really difficult when someone says, "Yeah, no, I don't need your. It's good. I'll take care of this."
Right. And it leads, I feel like it's leading us back to the question of have we noticed progression in any of our actions? Can I take notes from tonight and any of the anything that's been said? Have I progressed in any of these spaces already? And can I apply this in a way that I can start to see me interacting with this differently? Tad, did you have something?
Yeah, I was just gonna comment, like, I think, for a lot of us, when you leave the bridge, you do have this overwhelming feeling like you have to do all these things. You have to be perfect. And I think a lot of times it's fear-based because you're so afraid of one showing that you still have some form of weakness. But two, you're also have fear of falling back into the same cycle that took you to the bridge in the first place.
Right.
So you feel like you come back and you got all these balls. I got to take care of my work, my family, the kitchen table, and make the bed and meditate and then find time to journal. And you feel like if you start slipping on some of these things, that the fear is that you're going to find yourself back in what took you to the bridge in the first place. And I think there's a real overwhelming fear for a lot of us when you leave. Not that we don't miss you, but we don't want to come back necessarily.
Go ahead, Joelle.
Confession to make. I don't do my gratitude journal anymore. I'm moving on to other things. And the other things are I'm doing daily facials. I'm doing daily taking care of myself. And there's these times I used to do my gratitude journal every single day. And I've done it for like 7 years or whatever, but I don't miss it. I'm just not there right now. And it's okay. I've got other things I'm doing, and I don't meditate either. I used to all the time. I do other things. So they're just good tools. They're good tools. It's not a rule. It's a good tool to use and to see what it's for and see where you're at. Like tune into yourself and see what tool applies to what I'm feeling right now.
I think you're exactly right, Joel. I try to do the same thing. I mean, at the end of the day, if I can, when I'm putting my head on the pillow, honestly tell myself that I did the best I could for that I was capable of doing today, then I'm okay. I have to be okay with that. I'm not going to be perfect. I'm not going to be if I do journal, it's not some epic thought that I pulled from the universe. It's if I meditate, sometimes it's not that great. When I do yoga, it's very embarrassing. But I just if you just do what you're capable of doing to the best of your ability and stay, I think it was Ashley that said, being present and being mindful of what you're doing when you're doing it. If you're going to make the bed, make it the best bed you can make. If you're going to do the dishes, do them the best you can. And that's all you're capable of doing. No one should ask more of that.
I think
Dude, Ted, go ahead.
I think also reminding yourself, and I have to do this often, that the average human would shut down at any point, or like even the fact that our brains are subconsciously able to question things like, why am I not doing more, or even thinking about the tools that we have at the bridge. Like, you have to give yourself some credit and notice that subconscious change, because I know, like, I think about the thing that Dr. Brooks made where, like, to change your brain, you have to go rewrite the subconscious. And, like, the fact that we're able to have these conversations and, like, point out the things that we struggle with, like, the average person's not going to do that. They're going to ignore it. They're going to try unhealthy regulatory methods or something like that. So, like, while we're struggling and having these conversations, like, even when your brain brings something up or you do something like make your bed, it's like, wow, I just made my bed, instead of just saying, screw this, I'm just, no. And
And stay.
so, yeah. And like, just even like being able to get your brain to consciously have these conversations, like, shows the growth.
I love that, Gavin and Tad. Thank you so much, Joelle. You guys, I'm feeling grateful because of how this has kind of come to a head here at the end of the conversation. And believe it or not, I actually wish we had a little bit more time, because I feel like there was some other pieces that are popping up that are helpful for us, because we can all relate, I feel like, to what Tad said. And when I say we, I connect with all of our guests who are home and who have been guests at the bridge. The pressure to do all the self-care, to use all the tools, to incorporate those in a mass, intense setting. And that's, you guys, it's not possible. So laying down at night, and maybe the question is, where was I progressive today? What was my 1%? Thanks for remembering stuff, right? Like, where's the 1% that I progressed in today? And if it was making the bed, cool, I made the bed, right? Celebrate the progression, because the perfection is not the outcome we want to focus on, right? So standing in a place of victory rather than in a place of judgment can really make things shift a little bit better. Go ahead, Steph.
I was gonna say, and maybe to tie it all together, connection over correction. It's what I keep telling myself. Thanks, Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
Connect with yourself. So like Joelle's talking about, Lori's talking about, like, yeah, if there's something, if something's not working for you, try something else. Connect with yourself and do the self-care that works for you.
Yeah. And I really appreciate, Joel, you putting forth that the idea of, oh wait, I don't have to do these things. Like, maybe these certain things were working for a while, and maybe I have to shift. Maybe it's time to shift. Maybe my progression is going to go differently now, right? Because one of our basic needs is variety. So we may at some point as a human being need to change up what has been working for a long time that may or may not be what it is that we need to move forward in to progress further. So keep having conversations with yourself. Keep asking the questions, you guys. Stay observant, right? Like, who's talking? What's the narrative? And where am I going with this? Yes, Lori, I love that. Seasons, right? To every season, there's something that we need. So take a deep breath and embrace that. You guys are doing a phenomenal job. I see you guys. I guess I watch the faces of the providers when you guys are talking, and it's we love you. There's like enlightenment. We're like, oh wow, look at what these guys teach us. Like, what are we doing here, right? You guys are awesome. So thank you for being examples. Thank you for guiding us. We love you. Thank you for being here. Sorry. Next week.
Helping us keep going.
Thank you guys. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to. Oh, so we have Signy next week. So come ready for some meditation and some great breathing with our beautiful friend Signy, who is so wonderful at helping guide us through those pieces. So we will see you here next Wednesday, 5:30 to 6:30 Mountain Standard Time. Thank you, providers. I love you guys.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.